Maybe we didn't.
I don't think we read because
I
you were not feeling well, so we didn't do this at all.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we took a day off.
So it's Gene Key to Gift of Orientation. Orientation has always kind of given me a bad feeling.
Okay.
Like it's important for me to orient myself into what somebody else's program is, you know? It's like, I don't know.
What if but in here, isn't it? It's not saying somebody. It's saying
No.
you're orienting towards synchronicity
your
and
own.
and so no wonder you've been like, ugh, this doesn't feel good, because it was a different definition of orientation, and not this one. Not the,
Right. And our
Okay.
city that we're heading into is unity. And so it's no wonder that we feel so in tune with the gift, because we're already moving into unity. We've already been unity.
Returning to the one.
Okay, let's read this little quote right here on the side. The more you let go into the feminine yielding quality of this gift, the more universal power floods through you.
What?
I think that's why there have been some days where you're like, I feel great. You know, even after you had like what could have been a super draining and destabilizing day, you're like, nah, I'm pretty good, you know? And so I think those are the days that you really let go, you know, into all of this.
Feminine yielding quality.
And that opens it up to the universal power to flood through you.
I am such a lucky girl. I may feel guilty for moving out of that house with my kids, but this is the best of luck.
Yeah, it's time for you to take care of yourself. You are a mother and you are a Jeanette who has so much to...
And you know what I say?
Well, maybe it's rechilding, like reconnecting to your child as if it had been fully supported.
And
you know,
mothering that child.
Yeah, as you would want to be, as you wish you had been mothered.
Exactly.
I mean, I will say that's been a big piece for me.
That's been a piece for me, too.
Especially when the grief of how I did mother my child comes up, and I'm like, oh my God, I really wish I could have done XYZ. And then I do that for myself or for her if she gives me the chance. Or anyone else who gives me a chance, which you have. You've given me a chance to really repair within myself and forgive myself for a lot of the ways that I wasn't a good caretaker for her. You know? And so, I mean, I know I was not, and I didn't have any energy. I had very little support. I was literally working, you know, a lot. So I know I did the best I can. Yet, of course, you know, my heart yearns for wishing that I could have done something more supportive, more, you know, gentle for her.
And remember what the first Gene Key said, that everything is happening perfectly as it should. I mean, there's just, my kids needed the kind of motherhood that I gave them, or they wouldn't have come into me.
Yeah, right. And sometimes I'm able to really go, okay, well, you know what? There are stories where even the teenager, and there's a lot of hero stories where they start as a teenager. Like the teenager had to follow their, you know, queen, their mother, whatever, literally into the battlefields. And that's how they had to grow up. And it sucks. But I do honestly, in a lot of ways, feel that was part of mine and Ainsley's journey, was for her to go through those dark, horrible places, at least with me near enough that if, you know, that she knew that, yeah. But we went through, we were war generals, I guess. And now we have come through the war. But there's, there's always recovery afterwards. So, yeah, of course I wish that she didn't have to go through that dark war with me, but she did, and now she's such a badass. And all of her friends have always looked to her to be like, okay, Ainsley can do it, or Ainsley can show me how, or she's been very inspiring all along. So really coming into her own now.
I'm not surprised. I mean, she's got you for a mother.
Yeah. And I know there's a lot I did right, so I do, try to balance it out.
You did good.
It looks like 2 cards jumped out today.
Yeah, and they're so kind of opposite.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we haven't gotten swords in a while.
So the 2 of Swords, to me, always signifies making a decision.
Okay.
And or somehow being undecisive.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot going on in that card. A lot of symbolism.
Yeah. So Wade called this card Peace Restored.
Huh. Wow.
Typically presents a difficult decision, a choice between 2 options. You may find you have to base your decision on instinct because you can't see the whole picture. You might even feel as if you're being forced to choose between the lesser of 2 evils. I'm not feeling this in my life today.
Yeah, not today. I wonder if it's a larger picture, though.
Yeah,
You really have. You just said I feel a lot of guilt for moving out.
That's
with my
true.
kids and moving in here. You made a major decision, and it felt like the lesser of 2 evils. You really yeah. It seemed like it really felt like the lesser of 2 evils to you, but in part because you couldn't yet imagine what it would be like here.
Right.
I think.
Right.
So.
And because I felt bad for them.
Of course.
I just felt like I was doing them wrong. That I was wrong for choosing somebody else over my family.
I mean, you were choosing yourself as well.
My sister Judy is living with a friend and she's got 3 daughters.
Yeah.
She tried living with one of her daughters and she couldn't do it, so she moved in with Kathy, her best friend.
See?
And
Judy knows how to do it. Maybe we're just not supposed to live with our adult children. I mean, maybe it's too hard to step out of the dynamic of we were supposed to stop living together as teenagers, unless I do believe that multi-generational family living is possible, but it seems like it would have to come after a lot of that trauma healing had been done, and maybe some significant repair and a shift in the relationship, and more separation. Like living in a 3-bedroom apartment is probably pretty tough to succeed. A larger space so that you had privacy, which you pretty much never seem to have.
And we have the Ace of Pentacles, which is, aces are always symbolizing new beginnings. And this is new beginnings on the physical plane, or the wealth plane, the health plane. All of that. So that's coming down the line. In the weight design, the right hand of God emerges from a silver cloud. It holds a golden pentacle, the symbol of the physical world. Beneath the pentacle, off in the distance, a flower arbor gate stands as an invitation to a garden of earthly delights. Waite called this card the root of the powers of earth.
It's interesting. It's called the root, but it is not even in
There's
contact.
Mount Hood.
It does look like
There's
Mount Hood.
in there.
Through a beautiful arch. The root of earthly. What?
The root of the powers of earth.
Okay, powers of earth.
We know that the earth is powerful. Dear
Okay.
Gaia. The most precious gift, of course, is the gift of life. And the Ace of Pentacles sometimes heralds a new life, which could be the birth of a baby or simply a new lease on life through better health and more optimistic attitude.
Or the birth of a baby business.
Or the birth of a baby business.
The baby's coming, the baby's coming.
Because Pentacles represents money, the Ace of Pentacles could also symbolize the start of a new career, a raise, a promotion, or a rewarding investment.
Oh, look at cute baby.
That's awesome. A reward on an excellent investment. Investment of time, energy, and some cash. Need to, yeah. Okay, new career.
Of course, wherever your treasure is, your heart will be too. The Ace of Pentacles could describe the ideals and values you treasure most, not just physically, but also spiritually. It's a reminder that you may be experiencing life on earth, but that doesn't separate you from a higher existence. You are a spirit in physical form. Sweet.
Sweet. Do you really, okay, the date's today, what is the 15th?
17th.
The 17th. And you moved in on what day? Was it the 25th? No, that's... I'm just trying to figure out how many days ago you moved in.
It was a Saturday, right?
Yeah. Date schmates.
28th.
The 28th. Okay, so you moved in on the 28th. Gosh, look at that. I mean, you've had more good days in the past week than I could remember you having.
Having some good days.
And the lows...
The pain is getting better. I mean,
Good.
I still am using the, what do you think?
Castor oil packs.
Castor oil
and the hot
packs.
pad.
But I'm using them sort of proactively.
Yes, that's the way to go.
Not really because it's hurting.
Right.
And I think I'm taking less pain medicine.
Yay.
Like I didn't take any this morning
Wow.
yet. And so, yeah.
The healing power of community and creativity and love and beauty.
You're so beautiful.
Yeah, I was just like bursting with excitement and happiness.
You're
And
bursting with the flower of beauty.
see, I'm always prettier when I'm being creative or like excited or whatever. Of course, I think we all are. But yeah, this is fun. This is fun. I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad I'm here
Yeah.
too, and you're not. You kept saying you wanted me here. You wanted me, and then I kept thinking, once I move in, is she gonna go? Oh, fuck! What do we do?
Super valid worry, of course. Yeah,
But,
totally understandable.
so you haven't done it yet.
No,
It still might happen.
Well, I honestly, I mean, I think Brian and I have had a pretty good system going where we get breaks from each other, and I think breaks are really like are kind of both when we were having struggles, it was the opportunity to get some distance and like reset perspective and maybe like reflect on some of the stuff that was happening. And when we came back together, it was, you know, always a repair and, you know, growth process. However, like now when we're apart, it's more like, I miss you, you know? And so I think we'd already moved through an awful lot of the like, whew, that was a rough patch. I really need a break from that. We moved through most of that before you moved in, you know? And so
well, and I just can't take a lot of activity anymore, you know. I mean, I go into my cavern and hide. And
you mean just like a lot of activity going on around you, or
well,
you engaging in...
Yeah, I mean, you know, we come out, we do an hour or two, and then it's time for me to rest, and you don't seem to mind that.
No, it's exactly what I imagined was going to happen, is that we would the hours that we spent together would be much more, you know, like energized or connected or whatever, because we weren't having to spend energy just to the get together part. And so, and I knew that, you know, it would be a lot easier for you to be like, okay, I'm done now, I'm gonna go rest, and that you would get the rest you need, because these little things, the getting up to get the water, getting up to get something else, getting up, like all of that, a lot of that is able to be taken off your plate. So it's just that many less times of getting up. What, you know, like that sometimes is so fucking exhausting. And so I knew it was going to be like this. And so that's why, I mean, the only thing I was like, I do need some time with you, you know, but I know that I don't know, it's really working out even a little more smoothly than I imagined might happen. Like, yeah. And it's working great for me too, because I wasn't sure how it was going to be for me, for there to be someone else in the house, like most of the time. Cause I was getting the house completely to myself. And there's one of the aspects of me is I can only go into safe mode, where like, I know I can go as deep or as far from verbal left brain as possible. Up until recently, I've only been able to go into safe mode if there's no one around. But
fortunately, I sleep in until
it's perfect. Like,
you're
see, that's one of the
mode.
ways it's working even better than I anticipated. Yeah, is your natural, usual sleep cycles, currently at least. It lines up so well with the hours it takes me to either just wake up or recover from driving, or so that when you're kind of ready to get going, I'm usually ready, and so it just lines up really great. And then late afternoon, I usually really want to crank out some stuff, and that's when you go rest.
Okay.
So yeah, no, I knew our work and play days were going to be a whole lot more fun, easy, and productive.
Yeah.
So,
I think I'm going to send a note to my sister Judy and say, hey,
you had a good idea.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I lived with my daughter. You lived with your daughter for a while, and then we decided
this is not for me.
No.
And I mean, I'm guessing that's actually what's happened with, people. I've heard, mostly it seems like when people bring up like two little old ladies living together, they must be lovers. I bet a lot of times they're just really dear friends.
Good friends.
Yeah, and so it's like, I think it's just another illustration of how much there's an over-orientation towards sexual and romantic relationships. Right. When friendships, I think, can honestly be the majority of the time, except for maybe like one person. Like there might be one person that I can fully, come into full relationship with, but my friends, I can have a more than a handful of friends that I can have this deep, lasting relationship with, that, yeah, it feels much safer to me, in part because I've experienced it. I have multiple friends that we've been very tight for 30 years, with some breaks in the middle, but and yeah, I just know that it's possible, and I just know that friends are more likely to last and last, and or return if there's been a rupture, So I think those who are meant to be in my life will return or will show up.
I don't know. In my life, it's been different. I really want to attract friends, and I seem to attract friends, and then for some reason or another, I offend them, and they go away forever.
Yeah, I get it, and that used to be my cycle as well. And so my guess is either at that time they weren't the best, energetic or vibrational match for you, and or you're just finding your people now. It seems like the folks who come visit you regularly, like you seem to always be energized, or at least feel really good about it. Seems to be very nourishing for you.
I love this little.
And those are the kind of friends to cultivate.
So there are just three of them, but golly,
you can go deeper.
They're very loyal to me.
Right. And with fewer people, you can go deeper. If you spread yourself too thin, then there's not a lot for anybody.
Gosh. Vincent and my relationship is so deep and so full of true love.
See?
It's just God. It's so wonderful. And he's just not anybody that I would have selected out of, the lineup.
Right. But you allowed, you allowed the synchronicity of life to select them.
I just said, I want people to practice unity with, and he stepped forward, and by golly, unity happened.
And where specifically did you say that, and he stepped forward? Where'd that come from?
Well, it was, I just felt like I wanted to go deeper with my relationships.
Totally. Yeah.
And so in my geek group, I said to all of the people in my geek group, my spiritual geeks, I want to go deeper with my relationships. I feel like it's best done one-on-one. Who would like to do that with me? And he and Veronica and Rodney all stepped forward. They are three different people, and so the vision of unity, the reality of unity is different with all three people. I can't expect that it's going to be the same as Heather and me.
Right. No, everybody's gonna have different relationships. they're different together. And okay, so you're saying Vincent was in your spiritual geeks.
Yeah.
It's just that you weren't tight yet. Okay.
Yeah, we had spent the COVID deal getting on Zoom every week, and each person would take a turn and find something interesting to share with the group.
I love those kind of gatherings.
Yeah.
And I particularly like them on Zoom because it's just so much less effort than being in person. But also, I kind of think there's also the power of just saying, this is what I want, in a group of people who are all paying attention to what that is.
Right.
Because, I've been reflecting on our community support group, and how, in January of 2024, I guess, I said, hey, I really need people who want to collaborate. I want them to step forward and be brave and, record stuff with me and talk about business, is where I started. And I really need support in my business. I need some attention on it and, support of any kind. And even though it felt like it didn't happen really fast, you did call right away. And so did the gal, her name's falling out of my head right now, but there were two people who stepped forward and were like, I want to do that with you. And then you and I have continued.
And I
you-
couldn't do what you wanted me to do.
It didn't matter. Pay attention to the gene keys. Like, it all applies, and it was all in perfect timing. And so, I mean, I feel like I can relate back to the community group, support group of like, I asked for this, and it may not have come from y'all, but then I asked for this, and then, so just asking in that context, has been really
whatever
powerful.
angels come.
Mhm.